there, Lunar Squadron. Welcome back to the channel. We have a brand new title for a brand new Star Wars video game. This one is going to be the sequel for Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. We are going to get into what that new title is and everything you need to know about this sequel in just a few moments. But first, if you are looking for a place to stay up to date with everything Star Wars gaming, look no further than Lunar Squadron. Click that subscribe button and the notification bell right on next to it. It'll let you know every time that we upload the latest and greatest Star Wars and Star Wars gaming content. With that, let's get into this. Alright, Nick, well, first things first, we've got a brand new title. It's not Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order 2. We're going to get into whether or not that's a good thing or a bad thing, whether we like it or not later. What's the new title?
Yeah, so this kind of came out of nowhere on Thursday, didn't it? This report just kind of dropped from Jeff Grubb with the title for the upcoming sequel to Jedi Fallen Order. Personally, I would have preferred it was Jedi Fallen Order 2, but it's not. It is, in fact, Star Wars Jedi Survivor. That is the title, reportedly, that Respawn will be going with for the sequel to Fallen Order. How are we feeling about this? Jedi Survivor. How do we like this?
You know, okay, first off, if you are super married to the Jedi Fallen Order name, which I know you're one of the people in that camp, right, Nick? Like, you absolutely love the name Jedi Fallen Order for a franchise, right?
I mean, I just have always preferred if they would have named the franchise Fallen Order instead of Star Wars Jedi. I just like that name better, but, like, that's why I'm not on Respawn's payroll to make those decisions.
Right. I mean, when you think about it, like, it's appropriate for Cal Kestis because he is in a survivor state, obviously, with the, Empire hunting down all of the Jedi in this time period, following Order 66. I suppose any Jedi in this time period is going to be a survivor. And I mean, this is, again, assuming that we are occupying that same space in Star Wars that Jedi Fallen Order occupied. I mean, what do you think? How many liberties is this new game going to take? Do you think it's going to involve Cal Kestis? I mean, obviously, this is just some opinions here. We're going to get into some more concrete news from this announcement, but what do you think? Like, what's your instincts on this one, Nick?
Oh, this is Cal Kestis' story. This is his franchise. Like, he's clearly the protagonist of this franchise. There is not an ounce of me that thinks this will be shifting gears to cover a different Jedi. Like, clearly there was a story that they planned on continuing at the end of Fallen Order. Like, there was a sequel that was established near the end of that game. Like, clearly they want to take this in a certain direction. So that is not something that has ever crossed my mind. However, one thing that has crossed my mind, Andreas, is when are we going to be getting this game? And it seems like over the last week or so, we have a little bit more of a concrete base to know when this game will come out.
Yeah, I think that's entirely right. I mean, if we kind of go back to when this game was officially confirmed, the title wasn't officially confirmed, but we got confirmation that we would be getting a successor to Jedi Fallen Order. We got that confirmation all the way back in January, and recent reports from EA have indicated that EA is going to continue its work with major IP, presumably Star Wars. We know that, EA is going to continue its involvement developing Star Wars games following the break of their exclusive deal with Lucasfilm Games. However, I think 2023 is what everybody's starting to say is a reasonable launch date for this game. Do you think that's what we're going to see here?
Yeah, so according to Jeff Grubb, that is exactly what Respawn and EA are planning. They are planning to launch this game in the early portion of 2023. There was some hope that they were going to be able to target the end of 2022, and that was kind of what they were intending on. And when we were getting those reports in January, that was kind of the smoke going around that 2022 would be what they were trying to target. I think both of us, I don't really remember, but I'm pretty sure both of us were pretty skeptical about whether or not they would be able to hit that, since they were supposedly going to be revealing this game in May. Would they then be able to turn around and deliver it by the end of 2022? And it appears That's not going to be the case. In fact, they are going to be turning towards the early portions of 2023. There wasn't exactly a bunch of information as to what that means, early 2023, whether that means, January or whether that means April, May. If I had to guess, we're probably looking towards that April, May range. However, that's not the only news that we are getting regarding this game recently. In fact, we also got some information about which platforms this game will be on. And I have a feeling, Andreas, some people aren't going to be very happy about this.
Yeah, I mean, according to Grub, the quote is, Star Wars Jedi 2 is going to be new gen only, where it's PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and then, of course, PC. Now, I know ordinarily this is a real Debbie Downer for a lot of people. For me personally, when we are looking at that 2023 market for games, this is the time when I personally think you want to start pushing the envelope on what these next-gen consoles can do. And the only way to do that, at some point, you've got to call it on the last gen, and you've got to progress forward. You can't expect them and these developers to continue pushing the bounds of what gaming can do if you are still clinging on to these older generation consoles. It extends development life of the game, and it limits what they're able to do with these brand new games. And I mean, I don't know if it's just me being used to the development cycle of Lego Star Wars, but I mean, even thinking that this game could be out in 2023 seems pretty quick, and I wonder if streamlining development onto these consoles has anything to do with that.
I mean, yeah, that's a good question. We just saw recently that Gotham Knights actually canceled the previous generation versions of their game to focus on the current generation or next generation. I feel like these consoles have now been out for almost, we're getting close to 2 years already. I feel like it's time to turn and call them current generation. They're not next generation anymore. And since we're almost 2 years removed, I think it is perfectly okay for developers to start turning their attention towards fully developing their games on this generation of consoles, because eventually, if we want to push these games forward in what they are capable of and their graphics capabilities and all of that, eventually we're going to have to start exclusively developing on this generation. And I totally get it. People are frustrated. It's hard to get your hands on those next generation consoles. I totally get it. I empathize with you. I get it. I just also at the same time totally understand why Respawn would choose to make this decision. And honestly, I'm excited that they made this decision, because I'm excited to see what Fallen Order sequel will look like when it is exclusively next generation, because we don't have many exclusive next generations. Even Sony's flagship exclusives that they've launched, they have been launching on the previous generation, that being the PS4. So we are starting to kind of get into that era of the next generation or current generation only games, and I'm very excited to see what these companies and studios are able to come up with and just, push the envelope a little forward. And hopefully that is something we will be able to get a look at very soon, because reports indicate, Andreas, that we might actually be getting a look at this game, or at least official confirmation, in just a few weeks, like 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, I mean, this one perfectly makes sense to me because, again, as you will remember, Nick, because both you and I were there all the way back at Star Wars Celebration in 2018, that is where we got our first look at Jedi Fallen Order. And a lot of folks are thinking Respawn's going to repeat the act here with, it's been years since the last Star Wars Celebration. Why not kick off the, reigniting of Star Wars Celebration with a brand new Star Wars Jedi game? I think this is a match made in heaven. I think it's a total hit. It is what I have been wanting out of this Star Wars Celebration. I'm hoping that Respawn's able to deliver, and I do think that they have been working on this project. It's just a question of, have they been able to come up with the goods to actually show up with a well-polished presentation to show something that's actually showable and in a workable state. And I mean, if anything, Nick, maybe a little bit of speculation here, just where we are on the timetable of EA barely announcing this thing theoretically in January. We're sitting now 5.5 months later. What do you think at most we can expect from Respawn at this showcase at Star Wars Celebration?
Yeah, so it's pretty much all but confirmed that, I guess I'm going to have to get used to calling this Jedi Survivor. That Jedi Survivor will be revealed at Celebration here in a few weeks. The only thing that hasn't happened is, Respawn themselves tweeting out, or Celebration themselves tweeting out that this is going to happen. All of the inside sources indicate that this is a for sure thing. It's going to happen. It's going to be revealed at some point during that 4-day event. However, they're also saying it is not going to get a panel. So, Andreas, if you remember at the previous Celebration, Jedi Fallen Order got an exclusive, hour-long panel where they brought the actors on stage, the developers on stage, the game director on stage. They showed off the trailer for the first time. None of that is going to happen. There's not going to be a dedicated panel. So, I'm not quite sure exactly how they're going to handle this. I don't think it's going to be a big, grand reveal. It will probably just be confirmation with perhaps a cinematic teaser at most, just being like, yep, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, early 2023, we're officially confirming it, for real, because there were those earning calls where they were saying last year that they wanted to continue this franchise, but outside of that, the developer confirming it that he was working on it, EA and Respawn themselves have never said for sure that there was going to be a sequel to Fallen Order. They've never confirmed this. It's all just been these insider reports. So I'm just expecting official confirmation at this point.
I think that's great insight. Honestly, the lack of a dedicated panel it's going to cause me to proceed cautiously, optimistically. I guess I'm hoping for the best, but prepared for nothing. As you guys know, as Star Wars gaming fans, it is rough out there. So any little piece of news that we can get is worth talking about, worth getting excited for. But again, I would remain cautious about this one, really hoping that our reports from VentureBeat reporter Jeff Grubb here are some inkling that there is some movement going on at Respawn, that there are some concrete plans for this game, that this game is under works, that it's titled, and that there's something packaged and ready to go for Star Wars Celebration. Let us know in the comments down below what you guys think of the new title, Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Do you think this is a title that is worthy of such a great series so far, with Jedi Fallen Order setting such a great standard with beginning Cal Kestis' story? And what are your thoughts on it being exclusively on next gen? And finally, do you think this thing is actually going to show up at Star Wars Celebration, or do you think it is a pipe dream? Let us know in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed the discussion, please feel free to subscribe and listen to Lunar Squadron by clicking that subscribe button, and make sure to hit the bell notification button right next to it. It really does help us out a lot, because it'll remind you whenever we post a video. We work very hard on these and would appreciate if you guys watch them when we do upload them. With that, thank you all so much for watching. That's going to do it for this discussion, and as always, we will see you all next time.